is going to seem like it's outside of the purview of what we normally talk about, but it's a really important conversation. So I'm a man of example. So if I tell you guys that I think we all need to be acting local, then I should be acting local, which is why I've stepped up my game over the last year. So tonight we're going to go to the VFW American Legion and sit in and observe a local candidates forum. I think for like city council and county commission, school board. I don't know who else will be here. Oh, mayors. So it's a very important conversation for everybody to have. So, hello guys.
Hello.
And hey, the urban conservative, I know you, but the reason these are important conversations and the reason I want you guys to see me doing this is because we should all be doing it. So I will have the stream up. I'm not going to be talking much once the actual event gets started, but I will be responding as much as possible to the chat as I can. So be active, and by the way, big shout out to the Angry Vet, who is show producer, as well as iMav from over at Subscribestar. Well, it's still very thankful to everybody who is a channel member, who are at one of the levels of Act-Localists. Thankful for all the subscribers. Thank you for everybody who shares. Thank you for everybody who comments. I don't know all the names. I don't know who all is going to actually be here. So city council, county commission, mayor, school board, I think. So we're going to see what they have to say and what kind of questions people come up with. I did not submit any questions. I was thinking about it, but I decided not to because I want to see what is on people's mind. I want to gauge what my local people are thinking and what's on their mind and why it's important to them. And thank you for emailing that chat. I'll check into it when I get back. So yeah, I just want to hear what the public has for questions on this. And like I said, I hope this inspires everybody else to get involved and be part of this. So here we go. We're going to go in. Let's see. Well, we could sit out here and talk for a few minutes. Are all of you paying attention to your local council races and to your county commission races? Those are really important. Actually, city council is probably by far the most important position besides school board. And the reason I say school board is more important than city council is that school board has the highest power of taxation of any state entity. Stephanie, what did he? Hey, Stephanie, what did he do? Why is he limited for 60 seconds? I didn't see his comment. Thank you, Dusty. I appreciate that. Yeah, so school boards are more important because of the amount of taxation power that they have. Oh yeah, we know there are some things we will not allow. So, and that is one of them. I despise racism and ethnic hatred and any use of it just to try and get a rise out of people. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Good catch. Stephanie, if you see anybody in here that has a channel, go ahead and put their channels up. But yeah, school boards have a lot of power of taxation, and it's broad, and it's really hard for people to fight against what the school boards do by way of taxation. And the reason it's hard is because they pull at the emotional heartstrings. They really work hard to get you to feel guilty and tell you that you don't care about the kids and that you don't want to see kids educated and that you're hurting the children. And that's it's a dangerous ploy. And now Stephanie is on the ball, Chaz. Trust me. So, and by the way, just so you guys know, I have a conversation with Chase Johnston, who's a political prisoner in Olmsted County right now. And he called me on Sunday, and I was able to record the conversation. And that will be, for those of you that are not channel members, that's been up all morning, all day today since this early morning, and it'll be live for everybody else at 8 o'clock tonight. So make sure you tune into that conversation. It's a really good conversation with Chase. He's doing well, and he's asking if anybody'd be interested in writing emails or letters in support of him to be sent to the judge and to the lady doing his pre-sentencing investigation. So he's hoping for a downward departure. So yeah, school boards play the propaganda game really well, and so school board's actually one of the most important positions that you can be voting on. And then from school boards, you can go to then to your city council, and really the mayoral position is secondary. The mayoral position functions as the executive branch of the local state, and so city councils are really important because they're the legislative body, and the mayors only function as tiebreakers in those situations. So we're going to go in. Let's see. I killed enough time. We're going to go in and see what they have to say tonight. So. Standing room only.
I guess.
It's not the same around here now that you're retired there.
What?
It's not the same now that you're retired.
It does feel different to me too.
I bet it does. You have a lot more time to run.
Yeah.
Where's it all taking place? Is Roy all up there?
I don't know for
Are
sure.
you set up?
But no, that's their recording.
Okay.
No, I don't have anything to do with it. But I believe what's going to happen is the candidates.
For one.
The candidates are going to sit in chairs and then each one get up to the mic.
Press area. Sit next to the bell.
Whatever's close.
Well,
When a politician gets a hug, you know they must be doing something
I
right.
know.
No, I'm leaving to go to bed.
Oh.
I gotta work at 4 a.m.
Oh, I remember those days.
That would never prevent it.
It's very simple. I know.
or you have your own table, you can sit over here. And I just went over and I just said in tripod wherever you want.
You guys look really familiar. Yes, that is big for Spring Valley, Chaz.
Plan C for videotaping then.
Well, it's streaming to my channel, so
Okay.
We've already-
And I'm streaming it on the SVBA page, so.
yeah, it's streaming to my channel, and we've already had the last count update that I got. We had. Are they coming up to the mic to speak?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
So they'll be, if you literally focus on the mic, you're gold.
Okay. Yeah, so we've had just the warm up, the pregame. We had 40 people. So
Oh, nice.
So.
Get on the page quick coming up.
Just recording everybody. Yes, you tell me the only person you know who hates having a picture.
That's my
If anyone says anything, I can easily.
So, do you want the?
Who's moderating?
I am,
Oh, cool.
up until school boards.
Then who moderates?
Sarah Coleman.
Okay. Do you guys have a list of like the candidates' names so I can put up? That I can take home with me afterwards so I can put it all in the description of the video?
Right.
Handwriting's atrocious.
Or you know what? If you got it in an email form, you can email it to me as well. That copy and paste would work even better than me hand typing it all.
What I'll do is,
They'll be announcing their names first thing too, Tom.
Huh?
The first question is gonna be their names.
I just like to be able to have the names of the people, and then because if I get time, I'll go through and I'll do a minute or a timestamp breakdown of, of the question. And so at this timestamp, you have this question, and then you have these people's answering. So, but I have to be able to. I have to be able to have time to do
Written down names.
it. Hello, Nikki. Thank you for being here. This is what we talk about all the time when I come in and invade your panels, Nikki. You guys want to look up my nose? Here, let's look up my nose. Oh, you're not going to look up. You're going to stand back here. Yeah, this is a really good turnout for Spring Valley. I was not expecting. I'm talking to my audience. I was not expecting. I was very excited that they did this. And there was a little bit of a hubbub, if you guys remember, about people who could and could not take part in this. A local politician who, the link is up. I'll put it in the description. A local politician. I look really tired tonight. I don't know. A local politician decided to declare that write-in candidates don't qualify as part of the democratic process. So. And then made an official proclamation that they're not allowed to take part in any events inside of the city of Spring Valley. So, hey, Chris, who else here? We got Chris here. Got Chaz here. Diddy's always here talking about oil up. Chad's here. Let's see. Down the line, people behave. Like, I do not believe in even censoring on my own channel, but there's some things I will not tolerate. And if you can't behave yourselves, then go find somebody else to troll, because we're not fun to troll because we don't cave. So, well, they're starting here in just a minute, so I'm gonna turn the camera back around. And I'll keep talking until they're ready to start. So, and they're going to start. So, put a 1 in the chat if you have ever done one of these.
Good evening. There you go. That sounds a lot better.
If I could get you to take your seats, we'll get started. I want to thank you for joining us at the forum. This is being sponsored by the Spring Valley Business Alliance. The format tonight, we're going to do the county commissioner candidates, and they'll each get a series of questions on a rotating basis. They'll have 3 minutes to answer the question before we move on. This is a forum, it's not a debate, so nobody has to worry about their campaign crashing.
Yes, I said that.
Debates. So,
There's a video on my channel.
so if we could have the county commissioner candidates up here. And we'll do a coin flip to see who gets the opportunity to go first.
KDH, I'll put the.
Your choice.
I'll let Larry go first.
All right. All right, so the one that's not answering the question, you can have a chair up there.
And at 30 seconds, I'll raise my hand so that you know there's 30 seconds left. And at 3 minutes, I'll let you know.
Okay, well, I'm not the most talkative, so,
You're not penalized by quitting early. All right, so
You might win points if you stop talking. That's right.
the first question is, introduce yourself.
my name is Larry Hinn. I'm the current county commissioner for District 3 here in Spring Valley and the surrounding area. Do you want, you know,
You have 3 minutes to,
oh, okay, I didn't realize.
yep.
Okay, I've been a resident of Fillmore County for 40-some years, and that, I've raised my family here. I have 4 children, they all, fortunately, all live locally, and, you know, work in the area also. I moved down here from the Minneapolis area, where I'd gone to school at the University of Minnesota, and went to, I worked at the VA hospital in Minneapolis for a number of years, and that's where I took my training in radiology. And I came down here to work at the hospital here in Spring Valley, and I worked in the radiology department and the emergency room at that time until it closed. After it closed, I went to work for Olmsted Medical Center as the branch clinic radiology coordinator, and I was in charge of the radiology and lab departments for the 5 southern branch clinics for Olmsted until I retired here in 2020. And since then I've been a commissioner here in Fillmore County, and I also farm in the area here with my son. We raise cattle here north of Spring Valley, and we're also crop farmers. So I have a little experience in the ag department along with my medical background, and prior to that I also worked as a property manager for Moss Properties here in Spring Valley. And we managed residential properties, you know, HUD units and that for low-income individuals. And also I worked on their construction projects too. So I've got a background in the ag industry, in construction, and in property management. So, and that, you know, I think comes in handy when it comes to the county, so I can kind of have a broad background in a little everything. So I kind of relate to a lot of different individuals and businesses. So that pretty much wraps it up for me.
Thank you. Great.
Hi, my name is Jerry Wolf, and
Gerald Wolf is listed on the ballot. My wife and I have lived in Spring Valley since '97, and we moved here from Adrian, Minnesota. I grew up on a farm in south of Adrian, and when we moved here in '97, I started out working at Bickney's Elevator over in Wyckoff, and working with livestock, feed and grain. And then, I went to Mankato State. I graduated from Mankato State with a degree in business administration and marketing. And then 2003, I went back to college and got a degree in computer science. I've been working at Mayo Clinic since 2003 in the IT department. For the last about 10 years, I've been leading a team of IT technology team, and recently have been working on what's called the crisis management team. It's a technical team for handling improving the performance and security of our software system at Mayo Clinic. And in 2000, I was or in 2021, I believe it was. Yeah, I started working with Fillmore County Republicans. Started going to a meeting. That was after the lockdowns, and I was looking for something to do. So someone said, "Well, go down to these meetings down west of the Fillmore County Republicans." And I kept going back, so they made me chairman. So, and that's been a lot of fun. In fact, running for county commissioner has really been a lot of fun. I've been doing door knocking. One of the things that I didn't think that would be what you would call fun at all, and that started a couple of years ago when I went out with another individual and we started knocking on doors, and that was learned that was a pretty good time. So we have 4 kids, and 2 of them live in the area, one in Spring Valley, one in Rushford, one back in Adrian, and then Reese is in Arizona, just back visiting from the Air Force. And he gave us some good news. He's going to be moving a little closer. He'll be out in Ellsworth Air Force Base out in South Dakota, so we're excited that he'll be within driving distance. Is that the bell?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
My phone does a bell.
All right, Jerry,
Could you hear me okay?
do you want us to turn up the mic some?
Yes, yes.
Pardon me, everyone. Dan, check yours now.
Is this any better?
Yeah.
Jerry, since you're up next for the question, you want to test your mic? Just
Okay.
double check.
Use your voice there, Jerry.
All right. I'm gonna put it up a little bit more. How's that? Can you hear me better there? All right. Okay.
All right, the second question, what do you see as your priorities if elected?
My priority is to make sure that we have the infrastructure and make sure we have a solid infrastructure for Fillmore County. That means roads, bridges, emergency services, the police, fire, and so on. And so it's important that we make sure that those are funded first. And because without the infrastructure, the rest, everything else, falls in place after that. But we need to make sure that we have solid roads and bridges. We want to make sure that have a good reimbursement program where that we're paying our law enforcement, our sheriff's department, to make sure that we're recruiting solid individuals, people that, you know, are committed to the community, quality individuals that, you know, that are, you know how to protect us. They know their laws, they know where they stand, and make sure that, you know, that our you know, the emergency services, you know, fire and ambulance as well, make sure that those are taken care of, and that we have a good solid infrastructure to take care of us. Thank you.
Well, I too, you know, want to see, you know, a strong infrastructure here in the county. You know, we just finished our 5-year plan for our roads and bridges and that, and you know, we're very fortunate in this county as far as our law enforcement goes. We're one of the few it's one of the few agencies in the area that we're fully staffed and that. So which says a lot, you know, for the, you know, law enforcement community, you know, here. You know, a lot of the counties around us, you know, are understaffed, you know, and are looking for help. We're very fortunate that we've gotten, you know, good quality candidates, and you know, and really, you know, have checked out well and that, and we don't have a lot of turnover. In fact, you know, a lot of ones that we've had retired, you know, have been with the agent, or with our law enforcement agency for, you know, 20 years or better. So, which says a lot, you know, for, you know, how we treat our employees and that. You know, and, you know, along with that, you know, a lot of the communities are having a lot of trouble, you know, staffing their EMS services and that. You know, and we're fortunate here in Spring Valley, for instance, where, you know, we may not be 100%, but, you know, we have a good quality crew here, I think. So, you know, also, you know, I want to be able to, you know, be able to listen to the, you know, constituents here in the county, and, you know, if they have issues, I want to be able to address them, you know, if I'm able to, and that. You know, I'm not able to speak for, you know, every, you know, committee in that we, you know, have our commissioners on, you know, because each one of us has a group of committees that we are in charge of or have a voice in. So, but other than that, I think, you know, that pretty much, you know, wraps it up for, you know, what I hope to be able to continue to do, you know, for the county. So.
Well, good. And you get to the next question.
Okay.
What do you see as the main challenges of the county in the next 4 years, and how will you address them?
Oh, goodness. Well, we're wrapping up our jail that we're building at the moment, and that we hope to have that completed here, you know, in first part of this next year. In January, we hope to be able to move our inmates in probably in March, and after that we'll go right into our second phase of our project, which is to remodel the sheriff's office and that should be completed by the end of the year, and hopefully the whole unit will be a lot more energy efficient, so we can save some money on utilities and that, save a few bucks for our residents here in Fillmore County. So, roads and bridges are an ongoing struggle, and that, and finding the funds, to actually do the work. For instance, I didn't realize, until talking with our engineer, to do a complete, reclamation on a road is about $1 million a mile. And, for asphalt. And, once you have the asphalt down, then, every 5 years, you're gonna have to, do what's called a seal coating and that, which is another, $50,000 a mile. So it's just an ongoing process all the time. So, another thing that's a struggle here in the county is, housing. And, trying to find affordable housing for individuals. I know our EDA director's been working on that. Childcare is another problem that, we have to deal with. There just isn't enough providers, to go around in the county. And that, and, the state really doesn't help much, or to make it any easier for the providers too, so. Let's see. Those items are pretty much high on the list, of what we need to accomplish in the next, number of years, and it's just an ongoing struggle all the time. And yet we want to keep our taxes affordable too, so. That's pretty much it.
Okay. Thank you. Jerry?
Yeah, without a doubt, the number one thing that people talk about as I go out door knocking is, roads. They want to have, roads that are in good condition. One person I was talking to was, there's Highway 5 down by north of Cherry Grove. There's a section that's in pretty tough shape, and he was saying now, what a number that did on his equipment and on his truck. And so, and I've talked about that before, that's, infrastructure, I think, is critical. After that, without a doubt, one of the things that people talk a lot about is election integrity. And with election integrity, there's three approaches, or there's three important issues with that, and actually election integrity comes third on that list. The number one thing is election security, making sure that that the election process is secure, and our county does do a great job with that as well. And after election security comes election transparency. That's one thing that I think we could improve on. I worked with our auditor treasurer a couple years ago on getting what's called a cast vote record. It's basically an electronic audit of the election system. And I was only able to get that 1 year, and then for some reason or other, there was pressure put on local officials to not release that information anymore. And it's right in the law that that's public property, that cast vote record. So, but regardless, it's transparency, and unless there's transparency in the election process, people are going to feel like something's wrong here. Why isn't there transparency? And so I for me personally, that's one of the things that I would like to see worked on over the next 4 years is that election process. I've been involved in a couple of different election integrity groups. One is called Cause of America, another one is Election Integrity, Minnesota Election Integrity group. And I, you know, it's not complicated. It just needs to be able, you know, needs someone that is able to work with the county auditor and get along with them and make sure that the election process is open to the public for everybody to see. Thank you.
Oh, don't go anywhere, you're next.
Oh, don't get away.
All right. With the Minnesota statute regarding solid waste, how do you envision the county subsidizing the collection of solid waste without penalizing the taxpayers?
I'll be honest with you, that's something that I will have to become more educated on. But definitely our solid waste program is something that needs to be worked on because for what we, I think we pay what we have to pay for garbage disposal and removal, you know, whether it's for the houses or for construction. It's you know, kind of out of control. It's more than what we should have to be paid for garbage disposal and removal of construction equipment. You know, what I'd do is work, you know, see what we have available for programs and you know, with the state and federal programs. That can be a catch-22 as well. You know, every time you sign up for, every time you get money from the state and federal government, you know, there's always hooks with that. So a person has to be careful about that as well. But yeah, definitely the solid waste is something that needs to be controlled, and we need to make sure that it's affordable for households as well as disposing of construction materials as well. Thank you.
Well, as far as solid waste goes, we're kind of at the mercy of the state in some respect. You know, they require that, I believe it's 37% of our solid waste needs to be recycled, and the recycled market has completely dried up. You know, it just doesn't exist anymore. It costs us now more to recycle than it does, you know, anything else as far as solid waste goes. You know, we have a number of different haulers, you know, in the county, and that. The ones here in Spring Valley don't take the garbage, you know, to our solid waste collection in Preston. They go to Stewartville, I believe, and that. What we do get, you know, in Preston Resource Recovery Center there, as far as solid waste goes, you know, we compact it and we send it to a landfill in Decorah, Iowa, and that. So, you know, we're in the process of looking at our fees right now, and to be honest with you, they're lower than a lot of the garbage or solid waste receivers in the area. So we're looking at increasing our tipping fees to be more competitive. and that, you know, to offset the expenses of, you know, the solid waste. You know, and that's something that we have to look at too, is we're in a position where we have to update our facility right now. The scale that we use doesn't fit the equipment that we have. So we're looking at having to replace you know, an existing scale for weighing our garbage trucks to ones that weigh, you know, semi-tractors and trailers. And so, and that's a figure that we're looking at, $100,000 to $200,000 just for scale and that, you know. So, you know, we have to, you know, start planning for, you know, updating and expanding, you know, our facilities that we have, because they've reached their use of life, I guess you could call it. So.
All right. Next question. How do you plan to retain top employees over the next 4 years?
Well, that, we do, that's a struggle sometimes too, but, you know, I believe that, you know, Fillmore County does an excellent job on retaining their employees. You know, we're very competitive in the marketplace as far as, you know, our hourly wages, our benefit package, you know, is very good for the area in that. So we very seldom have, you know, we don't usually struggle to find, you know, applications or applicants, you know, for different positions, you know, in the county, and that we're very fortunate in that. And the reason for that is, I think, is with our, you know, our benefit package and our pay scale that we have. So, you know, and we have a, you know, a pretty good, you know, working relationship, you know, amongst our different departments, and that everybody seems to, you know, get along fairly well. We don't seem to have a lot of conflict in that we, you know, even as commissioners, we have to deal with that sometimes. But I can't remember the last time we had to do anything like that, to be honest with you. You know, which is fortunate. You know, and I think Fillmore County has a, you know, the residents have a good work ethic and that, so, and that says a lot, you know, when it comes to, you know, filling positions and that, and finding quality individuals. So, let's see. In fact, I can't even think of if we've got any openings right now in any department, to be honest with you. So, in fact, we just filled the last, you know, couple of deputy positions, and that here in the last few weeks. So, otherwise, you know, our social services department is in good shape, you know, along with our, you know, public health department, and that we've got good quality people working there also. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
The most important thing for retaining employees and recruiting employees is having the right environment. Having individuals that are able to collaborate with one another. In other words, leadership, having the right leadership in those places, and even with the county commissioner. Now, the county commissioner is not the HR department or anything, but it's important for the county commissioners they provide leadership, and they are the, you know, they really are the leadership of the county. And so it's real important that the county commissioners have that ability to collaborate with you know, not only their colleagues on the commission, but also all of the people that are working in the courthouse, you know, the ag department, the road, you know, the roads, and so you know, and one of the things that has been helpful for me is being able to be lead a team of IT people at my current employment, and working on crisis, working in situations that are kind of a crisis situations, or where there's a lot on the line that you have to keep your calm, keep everybody calm, and so on. So in recruiting, that's one of the reasons why we do have, as Larry was saying, we do have a good retention rate, is because we do have a lot of good people that are working down in the courthouse and in our various departments. We're very fortunate, look at the city of Spring Valley as well. We're very fortunate for the people that we work with, and so it takes good leaders. We want to have good leadership that to set that example, to keep people calm and to collaborate and work with one another in order to be able to fill those positions and be able to recruit people, so that as people are looking for employment, that it's something desirable for them to come to. Thank you. You get to stay.
You get to
I
stay,
keep wanting
yes.
to run away.
And here's the question you've been waiting for, the last one.
They keep getting better.
Well, hopefully this follows the trend. How would you work with the cities and townships during the next 4 years?
Yeah, that's critical. My plan is to be able to attend city council meetings, township board meetings, going out and meeting with people like I've been doing during this campaign, knocking on doors. It's been a real treat to be able to go out and talk to people and find out what their concerns are. And I'm not the most efficient campaigner, as down in Forestville Township. And one of the guys I was talking to, he was, in fact, he's in the paper recently for his wood carvings, and he was in his garage and hollers down at me, "You want to see all my carvings in the house?" So I'm like, "Sure, whatever." So I think that I'm not the most efficient that way, but I think that that's the critical piece, is being able to go out and talk to people and going to the board meetings and finding out what the concerns are and bringing them up to date with as far as what's happening at the county, what are the current issues that we're currently working on and looking at coming up forward, coming on down the road. So to me, that's the most. That's how I'll handle that. Thank you.
Well, I too, plan on continuing to visit with different township boards and that, like Forestville, York, Bloomfield, and Beaver, and that, and talk to them about their concerns and that, and what they need, in their townships, that we can, as the county, how can we help them, reach any goals that they may have? As far as, specific road projects, that they want us to look at, or bridge projects and that. I visit with the, I go to the Spring Valley Council meeting at least a couple times a year to hear what they have to say, or what any issues that they may have and that, and I let them know, that they can contact me at any time, by phone and that, if I'm not able to speak to them at that time, just to leave a message, and I'll get back to them as soon as I can. And that, and if I don't know the answer to a question or an issue that they may have, I'll sure do my best to look into it and, and see if there's anything that, the board can do, and that, that's economically feasible. So, otherwise, Spring Valley and Ostrander and the municipalities, here in the county that are in this district, and that, I try to visit with, their individuals, on the council when I can, also. That's pretty much it.
Well, I want to thank the two of you for joining us for this part of the forum. Your time in the spotlight is done. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're gonna
So
want
next
to
up
stay
is the
put for my
candidates for-
after action
for mayor.
review, because this is very revealing, very, very revealing.
The ceremony of coin toss.
Justin can call.
Heads. Tails. Your choice.
I'll go first.
Okay. We'll start off with the tough one first. Introduce yourself to us.
Good evening, everyone. I am Luann Rusink. I'm a current city council member. I'm finishing out my 6th year serving as an elected member to the city council. I have served the city as mayor pro tem for the last 4 years, so since 2021, I believe. And what that means is whenever the mayor is unable to perform any of his duties, I step up and fill in. I'm the current commissioner for City Hall, so I assist City Hall with matters. And then previously to that, I was the commissioner for streets and utilities. So during that time, I learned a lot about plowing streets and filling potholes and things such as that. I'm an appointed member, voting member of the EDA board that I was appointed by the mayor, the current mayor. I currently serve as the chairperson for the executive committee for the Spring Valley Living Complex, our elderly living complex. I'm a graduate of Wyckoff Public School, and I grew up on a dairy farm just in between Wyckoff and Fountain. I currently work for the Mayo Clinic in a division of the legal department, and this past June I celebrated my 28th anniversary of continuous years of service, so that was an exciting accomplishment for me. I hold a bachelor's degree in paralegal studies and diploma degrees in medical and legal administration. So that was a fun accomplishment because I obtained my bachelor's degree as an adult going back to college. That was a and activities, Sunday school and confirmation class. So that's been a lot of fun being able to work with the youth. I also do lay ministry or pulpit supply ministry for area churches, and I'm legally ordained in the state of Minnesota. So I've been fortunate enough to be able to perform wedding ceremonies as far away as Montana and as close as just down the street to in our community center. So that's been a fun opportunity for me to join couples together and perform services such as that. Growing up, I spent a lot of time in Spring Valley. My grandparents lived here and worked here. I had an aunt and that lived here. So my family spent a lot of time in town, shopping, living, doing things like that. And it was always a great achievement to receive the award of being able to go to the swimming pool with a friend, swim for a few hours as a reward. I have a love for the city of Spring Valley, and I have really enjoyed being on city council and learning lots of what it means to help a city run efficiently. So, thank you.
Good evening. First off, I'd like to thank the Spring Valley Business Alliance for holding this, VFW for allowing them to hold this here, all of you here in attendance and also watching online. My name is Justin Molina, running for your next mayor. I have lived in Spring Valley for, it's debatable, as mid-90s, so about 28 years. I currently live in the home that my great-grandfather purchased in the 30s. I'm the fourth generation to live there. We moved here shortly after my great-grandmother passed away and purchased the house. And then once my father passed away, I purchased it from my mother, who fortunately lives with us and bakes all the time. Currently on city council, first term still. I had hoped to be on council for a few years before running for mayor, but unfortunately, Mayor Archer decided to step down, and so I felt it was time to go ahead and throw my name into the hat. I am passionate about Spring Valley. I love Spring Valley. I have been active for quite a number of years now, and actually that's again my mother's fault. I was complaining one day about something stupid, I'm sure, and she looked me dead in the eye and said, "Well, then get involved." And so you can thank her or blame her, either way. So you know, I was a youth director for 7 years at a local church here. I started Discover Spring Valley, which has been fairly successful, and unfortunately, because we don't have a newspaper, sometimes the only outlet for local stuff happening. And you know, currently on council and Spring Valley Area Community Foundation, currently the chair of that, which has been incredible to be able to be active in the community by providing grants to nonprofits in this community, but also Wyckoff and also Ostrander as well. There's probably so many more things I could tell you about myself, but it would just be boring. So, thank you. I appreciate it.
Right. Next question is, what do you see as your top priorities if elected mayor?
I love this question because I only have one priority: people. The people of this community are so very important, and they are my only priority. There's a lot of things we need to do, infrastructure improvements, affordable housing is a great need. The economic development needs to continue at a good pace, but we need to ramp that up, as well as communication and transparency. We lack that, so that needs to be improved. But at the end of the day, it's all about you. What you need, what you see as value to our community. I don't see any reason for spending money if it's not going to be of value to you, if it's not important to you. So you are my priority. Thank you.
Could you repeat the question again, please?
Sure thing. What do you see as your top priorities if elected mayor?
Top priorities if elected as mayor. That list could be very long and broad, but like Justin said, it is the people. That's one of the main focuses and main concerns should be what residents want, what residents need, along with what's best for our city as a whole. And there's challenges with it. There's financial challenges, and change isn't always welcomed. So trying to make a smooth transition once the change takes place for the new council members, the new mayor, will be an interesting time. But again, the focus is trying to do what's best for our community as a whole.
Okay. What do you see as the main challenges of Spring Valley over the next 2 years, and how will you address them?
I think the main challenges for Spring Valley are some of the same challenges that all communities face, and a lot of it has to do with finance. Money. It takes money to run a city. It takes money for street improvements, for infrastructure improvements, and we're faced with some heavy projects that need to be completed over the next couple of years to make sure that that dollar amount doesn't fall on our residents, that we can do whatever we can to find grant funding, to find other resources to try and assist us in helping to make those improvements, those changes affordable for everyone.
Yeah, so the main challenge is, like I said, infrastructure. In the next 4 to 5 years, we are looking at $35 million in absolutely necessary infrastructure improvements. That's a huge dollar amount for our small community. We will be taxing people super heavy if that is what we have to do. And I don't agree with that. I think our taxes need to be lower. I think we can make them lower. And I have already started the process and communicating with the state and seeing if we can get that money from the state. They have millions and millions of dollars in surplus nearly every year, and I want to get some of that money for our community, and I believe that we deserve it. Half of that nearly half of that 35 million coming in, it's $15 million, is the wastewater treatment plant alone, which is a state standard. That is something they're forcing us to do, which we need to do it anyways. It's not that it's not necessary. But if they're mandating that we do that, then I'd like to see them pay for it. Housing, we need to look at other opportunities and other ways that we can provide affordable housing. I've been talking to some of the contractors in the area, in our community, and asking them what can we do to provide affordable housing. And they've got great ideas, things we haven't even considered yet. So we need to continue to look at that. Other than, again, the economic development. We need better paying jobs, and I believe we can attract businesses to our community that will allow that to happen. I believe that we haven't even begun to tap what could take place here in Spring Valley. The possibilities are endless, and we're in such a great place within our community. I was just speaking with someone here earlier tonight, and I bet, average week, 1,000 vehicles come through our community, whether it's an RV, a camper, a kayak, a snowmobile, a four-wheeler, side-by-side. They're all going north. Let's tap into that. Last fall, I had the chance for the first time to go to the Boundary Waters, and the first thing you do is you stop at the I forget the name of it, where you get your supplies. Then you stay in the bunkhouse, and the next morning you go out. That should be Spring Valley. We are the first community on 63 coming into Minnesota. Let's be the gateway to the north. Let's tap into that. Thank you.
Yes, you're staying up there.
Yeah.
Excuse me. One of you will be elected mayor, which creates an open seat. How will you fill that seat, and what criteria will you use for the selection process?
I think it's a great question. So the first time I talked to Luann after we filed, I said, best of luck to you, and I hope we can work well together in the future. And we shook hands. I don't see any reason why Luann would have to be off of council if I'm elected. I think she's a great person. And you may not know it, but Luann stands for, or the meaning of Luann is warrior or lion. She's fierce. I don't see any reason why she shouldn't continue to be on council. I hope that answers.
Well, let me clarify that. You have each of you have 2 years left on your term, so when one of you get elected mayor, there's still 2 years to complete. So I would assume that one of you would stay, the loser would stay on the council, but
Neither of us are losers. I see what you're saying. So in my opinion, the community needs to decide. So they're going to elect 2 city council members because there's 2 seats that are open,
available. So the third, naturally, in my mind, would be the next of them. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So for the benefit of everyone, would you please repeat the question?
Certainly. One of the two of you will be elected as mayor, which creates an open seat. How will you fill that seat, and what criteria will you use for the selection process?
Sure, there actually is a process in place. Typically what happens is people can apply for the open seat. We hold interviews. The council themselves discuss who they feel might be the best individual to fill that opening, or the council itself can make a motion to appoint someone to the open seat. So there's kind of two processes that typically take place. Because both Justin and I still have 2 years left to our term, and we were elected officials by you people to the city council, we would continue filling those 2 remaining years. And that vacant seat, again, would be filled either by appointment of the council, or we would hold a time frame in which to have interviews and then choose who we feel would be the best person to fill that position. Oh, that's right. Sorry, yep, I'm next.
What type of leader are you, and what changes will you make to reflect your leadership style?
I like to think that I'm typically a strong leader. It's hard to answer that question because it's hard to say that if I am elected as your mayor, I am going to do this and I'm going to change this and this is going to happen, because I don't like making promises that I am not 100% confident can be kept. Because until you're in the situation, until you're facing a specific topic, task, situation, it's hard to know or predict how a situation would be handled. I wish we had a crystal ball we could all look into and predict the future and be able to confidently say, this is what I'm going to do because this is going to happen, or this would be the outcome. There's always kind of a trickle-down effect when you make changes or when you make promises that you always need to keep in mind and be thinking of. And so change is difficult, and so it's hard to say exactly what will be changed. I hope to continue to be a strong leader and help the city to grow and businesses grow and develop and bring new things to the city. I think we have a solid structure right now, and I just hope to continue that.
That's a great question, thank you. So when I turned 18, I decided I wanted to run for mayor. I'm obviously a little bit older than that. I realized I was just smart enough to realize that I couldn't do it. And so I spent the last 25 years or so learning from great leaders, having mentors that are great leaders, and finding out what a great leader is. That has been very important to me and instrumental in my life in many ways, not just local politics. It's so important to be able to lean on those people, ask them questions, and find out where I'm in the wrong. Because sometimes people won't tell you you're wrong. They'll say something nice to your face. And so it's important for me to have those people in my life. And I think over the last 25 years, if I was to categorize myself in what kind of leader I am, I would say a visionary. Because I see what it is, but I also see what it could be. And so, the last 2 years on council, we have focused on a lot of trees, where I'm seeing the forest through those trees, and we're stuck just looking at these trees. And I want to get outside of that because there's so much more that is possible in our community. So, thank you.
And the last question for our mayoral candidates. With no real room in the city budget as it stands now, how do you plan to revitalize Spring Valley so it can be a great place to raise a family?
That's, again, a great question, thank you. I don't think we've totally explored all the options quite yet.
We have a great ADA director. He's doing a great job, but I think that we can push further and harder. And, you know, the housing is an issue, the daycare is an issue, jobs are an issue. I work in Rochester. I don't want to go to Rochester every day. And fortunately, I get to work virtually most often, but I don't want that commute. I want to be able to live, shop, eat, conduct my entire life inside our borders. I don't want to have to go to Rochester. And I think that we can do that. I've already been speaking with other businesses in other communities like our own, asking them, you want to set up a second shop here? You want to come up and, there's a great daycare center in Stewartville. I've been in contact with them. Do you want to come and set up the same thing here? And I'm hoping that will pan out as well. Who knows? But if that doesn't, we can model what most people are doing, but fit it to who we are. We can't copy. Won't work for us. We can use and kind of get a few things here and there and make our town our own and be able to succeed. Thank you.
Again, I'll have you repeat the question.
No problem. With no real room in the city budget as it stands now, how do you plan to revitalize Spring Valley so it can be a great place to raise a family?
It is, it's a great question, and it's true. Our budget is tight. Every department, we've asked them year after year, where could you make budget cuts? Where can you save money? What can we maybe do differently to try and stretch dollars? And our departments that have always come back to us with, I can do this, I'm willing to do this. It takes a team to run a city, not just a mayor. It takes good communication, working together, having great relationships with the people you work with. We do have challenges. We have challenges with housing, with daycare, but it's nothing new that other communities don't have as well. But we have also seen very positive things happen within our city. We've seen businesses grow and expand, build new structures to move into. We've seen some new businesses come into town and expand their businesses as well. So that's been a very positive and welcoming thing to see. My 6 years on council, the growth that I've seen take place within our city has been just amazing. It's very heartwarming, I guess I could say, to be able to brag about what has happened within our city over the past several years. And I take great pride in saying that I live in Spring Valley and that I'm a member of the city council. I'm fortunate, I get to work from home. Mayo Clinic allows me to work out of my home every day, so I get to shop locally. I get to go downtown like I did today to Valley Cafe and enjoy lunch and take part and see our residents and talk to people and hear their concerns. And I may not always have the answer, but I usually find it and get back to you with it. So challenges that happen every year, and it's something that we always have to try and deal with and make the best of what situations come our way. Grant money is another thing that we always try to work for and look for. We try to fund things through grant funding as much as possible, and I think we can maybe even do better at some of the opportunities that we may have for reducing taxes, for finding ways to fund certain projects and make the tax burden on our residents less and more affordable.
Well, please hide your disappointment that that was the last question. I appreciate your participation tonight, and good luck on the election. So now, it's City Council. Trick question, introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is John Knowles. I'm a current city council member. I've lived in Spring Valley now since 2006. This is my second time around. I grew up in Byron, went to school at Mankato State just like Jerry did, graduated with a degree in Recreation, Parks, and Leisure Services from there. And my first job out of college was here in Spring Valley as the Park and Rec Director. I'm in a unique position as a council member. Not only am I serving in the role of the city government, I've worked as a city employee, I've worked as a school district employee, and I know the needs of the community. My wife, Crystal, is daughter of Larry Hint and Joy Hint. I have the privilege of having them as a family, so we get to know all the stuff about the community, about the county. Crystal's done daycare for over 20 years, so we know the challenges and what we need for our daycares in our community and how we suffer to find convenient daycare for infants. Huge issue for our community. The wait list for infant daycare, huge. In addition to being on the city council, I'm the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission. I'm also the co-director of emergency management. Spent several years serving on our wonderful ambulance service with a great group of dedicated individuals. And in my spare time, what little spare time I have, I work for a local farmer. Currently I'm employed as a facilities unit head for operations at Mayo Clinic. And just here looking forward to the challenges we face and an opportunity to continue to serve our residents.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Chris Danielson. Lyle. Since 2007. Between us, 4 adult children and 10 grandchildren. I'm not a great grandma yet. I was on council for 4 years, from 19 to 22. Was off the last 2 years, which I can say was actually a good thing because I had some major things happen in my life in that last 2 years. So the break was good, and it's always good to sit back and see how things are run and how things are going and listening to things that are going on in our city. In the last 2 years, I guess I really can't say I've just been retired, my husband and Lyle and I am on the Spring Valley Library Board, and I'm also on the Spring Valley Area Community Foundation Board as well. So I still have my hands dabbling in things. I guess I just decided that it was time to get back in the thick of it again, because I really love this city. There's a lot going on, and I think we can do some really great things here. Thank you.
Next question is, what do you see as your top priorities if elected?
One of my top priorities is, and I've talked to a lot of people. I've been out and about and residents, and I've heard a lot that the community would really like to see us have a city administrator. So one of the things I'd like to see that we go forward is that we would get a full-time city administrator on and take us to a great level, which I think this town can go to a great level. There is a lot of potential. Can be great things that I can see for us here. And I also know that there's been some interest in us seeing that we get a Park and Rec board back. We did have that back in the day, and John said that he was on that back then. So I'd like to see that as well, and just really work with the community and see what we can do and move forward from there.
It's a good thing we're two questions in a row.
We're blaming you here because you strapped us. Otherwise, we could have taken this down. Chris and I could have just walked around. So, we have so many priorities in town, and it's hard to know where to start. We have, like was mentioned previously by some of our other candidates for mayor, we've got the wastewater treatment plant. It's a huge, huge expenditure, 13 to 15 million, and we don't have a choice. It's being mandated to us by the MCA, something we have to do, and we need to be able to figure out how projects. We have almost $30 million in road projects, including the entire southeast section of the city. That has been on the docket and talked about since I was working for the city back in 1998, that we had issues in the southeast side of town that we needed to address. It's time to stop kicking the can and figure out how we're gonna fund this. We need to grow our industrial park. We cannot continue to depend on our local business owners out there to continue to expand to support our city. We need to attract business owners. We need to grow that industrial park, but we have to be smart about it. We can't jeopardize the financial position of our city to attract somebody to come in to put up a business. There's ways to do it. Jen and Alex have done it for years. Look what they've done to the downtown and how they've developed that entire block. We don't have to give away the farm to accomplish our goals.
No microphone adjustment needed. What type of leader are you, and what changes will you make to reflect your leadership style?
I'm kind of a bull in a china shop. I don't like to sit still. Something gets thrown at me, I like to find solutions. Not afraid of controversy, not afraid of tackling the tough decisions, and quite honestly, not afraid of telling it how it is. If you don't like it, with that said, we need to find ways to work with our school board. We need to find ways to work with the SVBA. We need to find ways to work with the chamber, and we need to come together as a city and do what's best for the community. There's a lot of projects that can be done, a lot of projects that need to be done, but at some point, you can say whatever you want as a candidate, no matter what office you're running for. The state isn't gonna throw any more money at us. They haven't and they won't. And we're gonna have to raise taxes to accomplish the goals. It's gonna be up to the citizens to determine where they want those taxes to go. We have needs and we have wants, and we have to set priorities, and then we have to follow through on it. Is it gonna be a popular decision every time? No. But every single one of us that have run for office and that are on councils and boards now have done so with the best interests of every single one of you in mind, and we will continue to do that.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Certainly. I believe the question was, what type of leader are you, and which changes will you make to reflect your leadership style?
Well, I'm short, and that can mean a lot of things. Short, sassy, short, fun size. You know, I guess I would, because the way I feel about what we're doing here is important, and it's like John said, there are so many things that are going on here, and it's hard to, you know, like how are we gonna make, you know, how are we going to meet all those needs, all those wants, all those goals? And it takes people, it takes a group, it takes a village, and we do have a village here. And I just believe that we can just take this place to the next level and go forward and, you know, have people come in here and see what we're doing, all the great activities and events and all that, and yeah.
All right, with no real room in the city budget as it stands now, how do you plan to revitalize Spring Valley so it can be a great place to raise a family?
Well, I guess, you know, I haven't really been on the last 2 years, so I'm really not really sure about how we're sitting with the money and what we've got available and so forth and so on. So I guess I would just be sitting back and coming in and looking at, going forward from here if I get on to what we can do.
So, you're right, Dan, our budget is very tight. And like Luann stated, when she was asked the question, every year that we've been on, we've asked our city staff, where can you make cuts? What can you compromise in order for us to meet our budget goal? And our city staff have done an excellent job. They've managed their budgets very well. Very rarely do they not have surpluses for us at the end of the year that we can transfer over into our capital fund to allow us to buy things that we need to maintain our city and to follow through on different projects and equipment. And we need to look at any grant opportunity we can possibly find. We need to lobby our legislators to get the state, like Justin said, there's a surplus. We need to do what we can to try to get at it, but we know they're not gonna give it to us, they never have. We've got great groups in this town that do a lot of volunteer work and have a lot of great ideas and have a lot of creative ways to raise money, and we need to lean on them and learn from what they've done and what's worked and ask them for their help. It's the only way we're gonna succeed. LGA amounts are not gonna increase. The increases they give us barely even cover our cost of living raises that we give our staff, who deserve so much more than just that, but that's all we can afford to give. So, you got, at some point, I'm not gonna lie, we're gonna raise taxes. I'll be upfront with you, I'll be honest with you. In 5 years, our taxes are gonna look incredibly different, but we're not gonna have a choice. If we wanna still have a town that's gonna be standing, taxes are gonna have to be raised.
Well, don't go too far. How do you plan on encouraging community members to help build or maintain community assets like festivals, pools, libraries, parks, and buildings?
Volunteerism is critical. Everybody in town should volunteer to do at least one thing. Whether it be to help with Wednesdays on Broadway, to help with Ag Days, to get on the ambulance, to get on the fire department, emergency management, you name it. Any of our boards, we struggled to find people who are willing to come on any of our boards. We had an open planning and zoning position since Kevin Beck died. That's how long that position was open before we were able to finally fill it by all of us going out and begging to serve on our committees. We shouldn't have to do that. People should be knocking on our door to come volunteer and to help support the community. And that's the kind of feelings we need to foster in town. Without volunteerism, we can't grow and we can't succeed.
I just feel like I should just stand out here and talk instead of bring that mic down.
Here, would you like to use this?
No, that's fine. I think everybody can hear me, right? Yeah? I agree. Volunteers are big. I think there's just, and there are a lot of people that do a lot of things and a lot of different things, do it over and over and over. And if they get more volunteers to help them, that's great. I know being on the Spring Valley Area Community Foundation is the hardest thing for us to find people to come on that board. And we try to get people from Wyckoff and Ostrander to be on there with us. We're trying to, go out into the community to help them as well as, bring it here and giving stuff through the foundation. And it's right, I mean, people just have to step up and be available and help, build. And if anybody's got an idea, throw that idea out there. Ideas are always good for the town. And I'm just think it's great how well this summer went and all the events we had. How blessed are we? I've talked to, the other day when I was here on Saturday, and I was standing up on the corner waiting for somebody, and the people that were coming in to come in downtown for Oktoberfest, everybody was from out of town. All out of town. I'm like, wow. I mean, I was trying to campaign a little bit. They were just from out of town. That's really, there's been a lot of really good feedback from like people in Grand Meadow that are over here all the time. And I had one person say to me, gosh, you know, if we could fill nights and we could have events like that in our town, wow, I love it over here. So I think that the more we do here, the better it's gonna get all the time.
Chris, if it makes you feel any better, my audience has just loved you over everybody else. All your self-effacing short jokes, just, it's just exploding. It's just,
Well, one last question for you. The city of Spring Valley has many buildings and houses which are not in compliance with current zoning regulations. How would you address this issue?
Well, I guess I'm really not into too much zoning right now, knowing, but I would imagine the process of finding out and pursuing it. And I know that there's a lot of things going on in town here that people are, you know, like they might not like some, you know, how a building looks, or how a residence looks, or, you know, maybe we just have to pursue that out a little bit more to find out what we can do and address it that way. Just another thing I've got to learn a little bit more about. So that's what I would do.
All I'm gonna say is, who needs Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny to be doing
That's why I like
So-
working with him.
You know, that's a good question, and the Planning and Zoning Commission and the City Council have already begun to address it. We've realized the fact that we have severe issues in our rental properties with landlords that are not willing to do what's necessary to keep their rental units up, and it's making our other landlords who do look very bad. And so, as our population increases, we're teetering right on that edge where we have to adopt the state building code when our population hits a certain point, and we're within about 100 people hitting it. So we've already made the decisions and have brought in MinSpec to manage our building permits. So now everybody has to follow the state code, have MinSpec come in and you have to apply for all your permits, have your regular inspections. And as part of that, as we move forward into 2025, hopefully, if not 2025, 2026, we're also going to be contracting with them to do all of our rental inspections. That's the goal. That's where we want to see this go in the future as the Planning and Zoning Commission. And once we have the pieces in place, that'll be the recommendation that we make to council for approval. That's the only way we're going to be able to enforce the building codes, enforce our city ordinances, and make improvements in the way the town looks.
Well, thank you very much. That's all the questions for the city council. I appreciate your time and joining us tonight. So next up is the school board, and it wouldn't seem appropriate that I ask myself my own questions. So Sarah Cohen is going to step up here and ask questions, and I haven't seen them before. So, thank you, Sarah.
Yes.
Anybody want to stand up
Yeah.
stretch?
Stand up and go potty.
5 minutes? 5 minutes? Yeah.
Yes.
So where are you broadcasting on your, on YouTube?
We've had a lot more viewers from outside of the area watching than I was expecting. I was expecting four tops. Before we even got started, I was doing an intro, and one of the feeds showed that views were up to 150. But we'll see what it's like. No, my audience is very. I preach think local, act local.
Yes.
And I have channel memberships, and my channel members are called Act-Localists. So the channel members will tune into stuff like this because this is where it matters.
So is this like on the rates where you have a meter that goes up and down for your audience?
No, I'm not quite that. Not quite that. Here, we can do this. Let's see. What kind of question can I ask to get feedback from the people that are still watching? Put a 1 in the chat if you would have voted for any of the candidates so far tonight. And a 2 if you'd have to think about one-on-one conversations to be able to decide who you would vote for. And then a 3 if you think voting is worthless because no one listens to us in the first place. There, and we'll see what happens. I don't think your Republican candidate for Senate has a chance. Amy's gonna. I know you guys are. I know everybody down here, outside of the primary runoff, but everybody down here was very adamant about supporting whoever the candidates are going into the election in November. It was a very interesting primary season this year in Minnesota. Across the board. Well, not the Democrats. You never hear about the Democrats putting much of a primary run against whoever the anointed candidate is.
Well, there really wasn't no
For Senate? Oh yeah.
Because now we have endorsing.
Did you notice though that all of the people who supported Royce that were down ballot lost? Not all. There was a handful that made it through, but all of the down ballot people, a big section of down ballot people who were fully on board, even though he won, lost their primary. I asked that question
when I'm back, that's, yep.
I asked, an honest question, and I mean, I've been up front. I don't
Hi,
care.
Mom.
He's dangerous. Did you say hi, Mom, on my stream? Martin? But I said, okay, I'm going to hear out. I've offered to have him on the show because he does everybody else. But I asked when he was on with Duesenberg, actually from Liberty, was on their show. I said, do you have any thoughts on why so many of the down ballot candidates have supported the lost primaries? And he goes, I don't know anything about that. And I think it's a really important question for up ballot candidates to be asking if there are people supporting you and they're not winning, even though you won. What do you think? Where is the disconnect? Because they were running on this supposedly the same principled platform that he is.
All right, I think we'll get started here. Are you gonna make me flip a coin?
It might be entertaining.
Non-athletic.
Cindy, you go ahead and call.
Hey.
All right, how many think she'll catch it?
Sarah, just let it.
Yeah, right, okay, that's good.
And then roll. Heads.
Would you,
I went tails.
oh, I'll go first.
All right, please introduce yourself to us and then let us also know the length of term you are running for.
Well, thank you. You're on. Okay. It's not as booming as that mic, so. I'm Dan Freeman, and I'm running for a 4-year term on the school board. I returned to Spring Valley in 2003 with my wife. We had been living up in the Twin Cities, and a city girl turned to me and said, hey, let's move down to Spring Valley to the farm. And I couldn't answer yes fast enough. And the nice thing is, you know, she's bonded with the community, or bonded with her chickens, or both. But anyway, I grew up in Spring Valley, graduated in 1975. I'm the 5th generation from Spring Valley, or Freeman here in Spring Valley. So, you know, my love of the community goes way back. And, you know, coming from Spring Valley, I had a great educational base. It helped me through my undergraduate degree, it helped me through my master's degree. I'm a certified public accountant, a chartered global management accountant, a certified information technology professional. And I'm a farmer, kind of. And the
Chickens count.
well, chickens, yeah, chickens do count. And my guy that crop shares with me does allow me to drive the tractor as long as I'm not planting or picking corn.
So you don't get to drive the truck.
Well, I get to drive the tractor, it's just when I'm digging up things. And I'm, have gotten involved in community activities. When you're an accountant, you know, it's surprising the number of treasurer positions that suddenly become available. So I'm the treasurer of the Spring Valley Area Community Foundation. I'm also the treasurer of the Spring Valley Business Alliance. And I'm just wrapping up a year, my first year. Was a 1-year term that I was on the Spring Valley School Board. So I do appreciate from the Spring Valley Business Alliance everybody showing up tonight, and turn it over to Cindy.
I'm going to have you. What all do you want in this question?
Just introduce yourself to us and then let us know how long your term that you're running for.
Short-term memory. I'm Cindy Seabright. I too grew up in Spring Valley. I graduated from Spring Valley. My husband graduated with. I am the better half of Seabright. Craig is my husband. Like I said, I was born and raised here, graduated here. I worked at the hospital for 13 years and went to Mayo for a while, came back to the hospital, back to Mayo, then to Austin. Then I just started up my own business. So for 16 years I had a medical transcription service and had 16 full and part-time employees throughout the country, okay? Technology got the best of me and I said, that's enough. So I applied I checked RCTC, I was on the advisory board there, and by golly, they had an adjunct instructor. So I always wanted to be a music teacher, and in a roundabout way, I'm not teaching music, but I am teaching. So I am running for the 4-year term. I have learned a lot, and there's a lot more to learn. I'm on the delegate assembly, and I have 1 more year with that. And the delegate assembly works with the board and policies and recommends changes to said policies. So I've got 1 more year on that, and I would like to complete that for sure. So.
All right. What, Cindy, do you see as your priorities if elected?
My priorities, there's a lot of priorities. The kids. It's all about the kids. Every state mandate that comes down, well, I should say, the kids and local control. Because every state mandate that comes down is chipping away at that local control, okay? We have a referendum coming up. And it's, yeah, we have to have a gym for these kids. When you have to schedule classes around gym time for the little ones, but schedule classes for the older ones and stuff, you know, these kids need that recess and recreational time, the FIED, physical education. And when they have to use the cafeteria, there's not enough time for them, okay? So that would be my main priority, are the kids, making sure the education is there, academics. You know, we hear all this stuff. There's reading, writing, arithmetic, social studies, okay? Sometimes some of the, what do I want to say, policies coming down are getting away from that, and we can't have that. So, though that's my main priority here, the kids and the education and having a good school, so.
I think Cindy said it best about the mandates coming out of St. Paul. I think you mentioned the other day that there were 65 new mandates that came out last year. So what we're finding is that St. Paul is running more and more of our schools. My priority would be to try and maintain the culture within Kingsland. Since coming back, I've been impressed on how the school has been transforming. You know, being away and reading about some of the challenges that Kingsland has had over the last years. I think it's changed. I think it's coming back. I think it's a stronger school district than it has been in several years. And I want to see that maintained. And we have to navigate through those mandates out of St. Paul to make sure Kingsland remains Kingsland and grows as our community grows. The thing that we do control is how well and how good of an education that we do provide these kids. St. Paul has a base level of what you're supposed to maintain. It's up to us to give the quality. And on the school board, you know, we provide the direction to the superintendent and lay out our expectations to the superintendent of what we expect the students to do in test scores and maintain, you know, get the strong culture. And that would be probably my top priority.
All right, so what do you see as the main challenges of the Kingsland School District over the next 2 to 4 years, and how will you address them?
Well, certainly the bonding issue will dictate a lot. The results. Sorry about that. The bonding issue, the results will dictate significant, have a significant impact on our priorities. And we've been working hard advocating for its passage or informing the community. And for the most part, the community has been responding positively. But until the last vote is cast on November 5th, it's hard to make any predictions. But if we do not pass question 1, it puts a significant financial strain on the school district, because we found that parents are happier if their kids aren't getting wet in school. You know, leaky roofs, mold in locker rooms, kids locked into their room in bad weather because there's no gym space. You know, so that there's a lot of priorities that will shift depending on the results of the bond referendum. And because of, if it doesn't pass, then there's financial implications. Where's the money come from? If we can't, through the bonding, fix the roof, what do we have to cut? Those are going to be tough decisions, and that's going to have a big impact on what we can provide the kids in Kingsland. So yes, you know, you hate to equate quality of education to bricks and mortar, but you know, it's a large part of how we can approach teaching our kids.
No, I think I remember. Dan is much better versed as far as the referendum goes. But he's right, if we don't have a school, this is gonna be the hardest thing. If we don't have a school, we have a grocery store, we don't have a car dealership. And as I mentioned with these mandates, okay, when the money runs out from the state with those and they tell us to continue that mandate, then what? But we have to have a school, and just the maintenance of the school. You realize those locker rooms were there when Dan was in school? When I was in school, okay? That's a long time, and something needs to be done. So, not only the referendum and the bonding, I will say, I am glad we are in a small town. Okay. We have excellent teachers, and I think Scott has been doing a great job. Once he had the reins, so to speak, he has good ideas, very knowledgeable, and open. So if anyone needed to talk to him or anything, he is open to ideas. But our main goal is the quality education, maintaining the school, which, in my opinion, too, will encourage others to come here, okay? So we've already seen a little bit of, I think, increase, but I think it would be, I don't know how to say it, the school, just the building proper and expanding it so that the kids, it's all about the kids, have their space.
We'll have you expand a little bit on this one. The voters in the Kingsland School District will be voting on 2 referendums. We know that number 1, a building maintenance improvements referendum must pass in order for number 2, the adding and remodeling of space, to pass. Granted, there are enough votes for that. What would your plan be if referendum number 1 does not pass? If we don't get anything?
We're screwed. That's all I'm gonna say, we're screwed.
Thanks for that expansion.
There's no other expansion, I'm sorry. If we cannot maintain the school, just the building proper, it would be like your house. You've got a leak in your basement. Are you gonna just let it leak? No, you're gonna fix it. And what we need to do is fix that building, okay? And I'm gonna just plug for this too. With the expansion as well, the community room. How many individuals here don't like driving at night anymore? Anybody? Okay. But you would like to take a community ed class. You could have it during the day, okay? So, but if we don't pass just keeping the building up, what can I say? I won't expand it again, but you know my thoughts. Yeah, that was good. Yep. Okay.
Well, Cindy, I think, pretty much nailed it. You know, it really comes down to 2 options. We go to the voters with another referendum, and with building costs and materials going up 7 to 10% a year, the 8.9 million becomes 9.5 million just to do the same thing next year, and it compounds after that. So, and does Kingsland have enough room in its budget to make those repairs on the flat roofs? No. So we don't want to end up like some of the school districts over by Austin, they have rain gutters in their rooms because they have leaks. And so the rain gutters, you know, channel the water down to buckets. You know, because the residents wouldn't pass referendums. You know, fortunately, we're not in that situation yet, but I don't want to see us in that type of situation. And so that's part of the reason why we came up with one that we think is affordable, that is workable for the farmers as well as the residents within Spring Valley. You know, doing a bond wrap keeps everything at the same level going forward. State of Minnesota is picking up $8 million of this bonding bill. So to us, that's the key. I don't know if we really have a plan B other than revisiting bonding it. And what's happened in prior years is when they didn't pass, they kept reducing the bonding request, and then they started cutting corners. And that's why we have roofs that are in need of replacing now, because they didn't put in 15-year roofs. Well, we want to put in a roof that outlasts the bond. We want to put in a flat roof, true, but it would be 30, 40-year roof. Some of them say they can guarantee it up to 50 years. That would be nice for a change on a flat roof. But we need to be able to afford that, and the bonding does work in that regard. As it relates to the addition, it is much needed. There was a lot more things people wanted, but we tried to keep it within what was feasible for our community.
You can hang there. The last question, you should know that. The last thing is, and if you would like, you could expand, is there anything else you would like to say to the public that was not covered here tonight?
Well, it's so open-ended.
Right.
What I see here tonight is a community that really has an interest in how the community is being run. You see that Spring Valley has really started to come together with many of the events that we see in downtown and the festivals. I think one of the big things that we want to see, and it was alluded to earlier, is a closer working relationship between the school district and the city of Spring Valley and the city of Wyckoff. Because I think through the collaboration of those three organizations, some really cool things can happen in both communities. And it's important to bring those various components, because I think together the three are stronger than the three individually. And it'll take some hard work in order to be able to find common ground, but I think it's possible. So I see some real great, some good things coming down the road in the future, just by working with the other communities in the Kingsland district.
Cindy, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Well, I ran when this I decided to run when this COVID stuff hit, and I started paying attention to our legislators and Congress and things like that. And that's when I thought, I've got to run and we gotta do something here. But you know, it's a real eye-opener. I will admit, I think it's run backwards. Government, but a big eye-opener. You know, we talk about discipline, we talk about this and that. It's not the board. The hands are tied. That's why I got on the delegate assembly, so I could try and get some of that stuff changed. I do agree working with the city. You know, there's things we can do using buses and whatever. I think we have a really good board right now. And we're able to discuss things and bring new ideas. And I don't know, I've enjoyed it. And I would like to do one more term. Again, we have a good board, we have an excellent school. All our positions are full as well, just like you were talking about government positions or city positions and stuff. All the teaching positions are full. There's a different atmosphere up there, I think, and it's a good atmosphere. And so I think that's it.
On behalf of the Spring Valley Business Alliance, I would like to thank all of the candidates that spoke tonight, as well as the people that came out to listen. So thank you. Have a good night.
Well, we got out of here.
It could have been 11:30.
All right, guys, bear with me. Oh. Yeah, here we go for an after action. Now's the time to really be sharing it out. I think we're gonna walk in the dark, so text me, Justin. Text me. Text me. Do I slow it down for you politicians? Text me. So.
I can speak sign language somewhat.
I'm a terrible person. Text me. Yeah, I think we're gonna go do this outside in the dark. I live. We'll try and do a after action review in the walk home. I'm about 3 blocks from where they met. So here's exactly why I wanted to stream this tonight. I think you saw the problem that we have with people's focus on the nature of the state. If you guys tuned in last week, I did a Defining My Terms episode where I talked about the state versus government. We don't have government here anymore. There's no government. It's the state. It's all the state. It's the municipal state. It's the county state. It's the state, federal state. And we've lost all governance. And you heard that one school board candidate, Cindy Seabright, say it's the school board's hands are tied. Well, they're not. And I like Cindy. She's a great gal. She's fiery. What she said about running because of all the COOF protocol mandates and stuff, I've heard her story 100 times. It's true. But see, the reason why they all think their hands are tied is because they think that you have to do whatever the upper echelons of the state tell you. And that's because we've got it all flipped around. And you heard that in these questions that were submitted. These people do not understand. They don't understand that we're the government. We are the government. And everything that was asked was basically, what are you going to do to make my life better? That's all anybody cares about. And every one of the answers, even from the people who I plan on supporting, every one of the answers is, we're going to do things for you to make your life better. Just once. Just once, I want to hear one candidate for office say, I'm not here to make your life better. I'm here to keep the government out of your life. I'm here to, and I use the term government because that's what they use. I'm here to keep government out of your life. I'm here so that you can live your life the way you want to live your life. And what are you saying, Snarky? They view everybody's place on a feudal spectrum. Yeah. I mean, well, I don't know about that. I don't view it as a feudal thing. But I'm a volunteerist, anarcho-capitalist, so nothing about me is feudalist. And that was, the whole point of the founding of the republic was for the elected servants to go up and keep the state and from interfering in your life. Look, there's no doubt that there is some form of governance that has to take place. You cannot have it. You cannot avoid governance. Governance is a requirement. Wherever there's more than one person, some sort of governance develops. The issue is how do you develop beyond just that ancillary, or not ancillary, that primary level of decision making. And that's what's missing. And you heard that. They're just talking about wanting money from the state. We're talking about wanting money from the federal state to do all these things. Because they've mandated them, and so because we have to do them, then they should have to pay for it. Well, the problem is that all comes out of our pockets. No, I mean they view the taxpayer citizen as being in a low role. Oh, okay. Thank you for clarifying, Snarky. So that, and that's the truth. Everything that they want for money ends up coming out of my pocket, comes out of your pocket. And that's why I refer so often to wage slaves. We're all wage slaves. We're not taxpayers, we're wage slaves. And they just want the wage slaves to pay for it. They just don't want to be responsible. And I'll give John Doles credit, who's running for city council. He said what a lot of people won't. We're going to raise your taxes. At least he had the balls to say it. That, hey, we're going to raise your taxes. It needed to be said. It needed to be understood. I got to go check on the chickens. For those of you that didn't see, one of the freedom flocks left us yesterday. Passed away. So it was a sad day for TC. So get around here. See if the girls all made it in safe for the night. Stand by, guys. I'm going to do my chicken head count. Oh, girls. Everybody is asleep. No, stop being cranky just because I woke you up. Right, here we go. Okay. Everybody made it in. All right. Yeah, that was definitely a how dare you wake me up. But yeah, that's what I was saying was all the individual boards, city councils, the mayors, county commissioners, the school boards, they all want to be able to kick responsibility for paying for stuff off to the next level of the state. And it really works for a lot of people. Because a lot of people fall for it. They're like, oh yeah, as long as my local taxes don't go up. But then what they're missing is that it's not just the local taxes that are affecting them. And I know it sounds funny to say that what they're missing is that it's not the local taxes alone that are affecting them. But a lot of people don't even realize it. They literally just think as long as their local taxes aren't going up, then everything's fine. And we all know that's not true, right? So, like, how do you address that with people who, as far as I'm concerned, if I'm being perfectly honest, got some door repair to do, by the way. People are just interested in remaining blind to the problem at hand. So I really appreciate everybody tuning in for all of this. I did want to, like I said, I wanted to do it as an example of, boy, you get the angles wrong and you look really fat. You do it from this angle. I look a lot better like that. I really did want to do it from the perspective of showing people that I'm serious about Act-Localism. Think local, act local. And I might go through and clip out parts of the candidate forum and have do commentary, bit by bit commentary on some of the answers and even the nature of some of the questions. So, folks, I hope that you guys all enjoyed the stream. And Thursday night, if everything works out, Spike Cohen is coming on the show for another episode of Libertarian Lowdown. And when you're done here, come back, share it out if you would. Hit the like button if you haven't. Comment outside of the stream. Comment in the video replay, even if you don't watch the whole thing. Drives me up in the algorithm. Helps me earn a little bit more money. And then as soon as you're done with that, head over and watch my conversation with Chase from Sunday. It's 26 minutes long, but he's really upbeat, and it was really good to hear from him. And then share that out as well. So, my friends, until next time, fight for your freedom, it is yours. Fight for your liberty, it belongs to you. And Sic Semper, Tyrannis. Wait, my question would have been, what do you think of those mandates? I wish they would have had an open question time. So, yeah. Till next time, my friends, Sic Semper, Tyrannis.